10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. A recent cyber attack has now led to gas becoming a scarce commodity in several states. That attack shut down a major East Coast supply line, and now people are rushing out to hoard gas, causing North Carolina to declare a state of emergency. Michael George has the latest tonight on what's happening with the Colonial Pipeline.
A wave of gasoline panic buying rippled across the southeast as word of the pipeline shutdown spread.
It reminds me of last March when everybody was going crazy buying up food.
My hope is that it's just a few days of panic and next week we go back to normal.
The Colonial Pipeline stretches from Texas to New Jersey. It supplies the East Coast with nearly half of its fuel. The pipeline was taken offline last week when hackers targeted its computer systems.
This is a massive pipeline, and without it, we're quickly realizing what can happen. Fuel is starting to run out.
Biden administration officials emphasize that the problem is regional, but they're urging the public not to hoard gas and warning gas stations against price gouging.
It's not that we have a gasoline shortage, it's that we have this supply crunch and that things will be back to normal soon.
Officials are exploring other ways to deliver gas, possibly by using ships or trains.
We put a stop to the can sales today. People were coming in and loading, trying to buy, 5 and 10 cans worth of gasoline. They're just hoarding it.
Colonial says it's increased security along its 5,500-mile pipeline, adding both air and ground patrols. The company hopes to have the pipeline up and running by the end of this week. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, the national average for a gallon of regular gas reached $2.99 on Tuesday. That's the highest it's been since 2014. Here in Billings, a former Lockwood School Board trustee arrested for sex crimes against a minor made his first appearance in court today. 61-year-old Joseph Borgstrom pleaded not guilty to counts of felony rape and sexual assault of a 12-year-old girl. Prosecutors said in charging documents that the girl told doctors about the alleged crimes during a checkup and that Borgstrom initially admitted to both counts in an interview with law enforcement. The judge set bail at $100,000 and ordered Borgstrom to wear a GPS monitor and have no contact with the victim. If convicted, Borgstrom could face anywhere from a minimum of 4 years to 100 years behind bars. It's official, the Pfizer vaccine is ready for use in teenagers, and here in Yellowstone County, Riverstone health officials say they will have an unlimited number of shots ready for kids. But before you line up, Q2's Andrea Lutz has a handful of answers to your questions.
The FDA has given the green light, and Riverstone Health is ready to go with Pfizer shots for 12 to 15-year-olds.
The FDA has approved an emergency use authorization. These are very safe, very effective vaccines, and that's the fastest way to get our community fully open and safe.
Health officials say children should be vaccinated to raise immunity in the United States.
It really does just add another layer of protection to the community. The kids in our community who have been diagnosed with COVID-19, the largest group is in that middle school and high school age. Make it easier to keep schools going strong, athletic events, kids' sports, all that will be much safer.
But what do parents need to know before coming to an appointment?
Parents still need to get consent for their kids if they do want them to get vaccinated. All you have to do is print off and sign this consent form found on the Riverstone Health website.
Anyone who's younger than age 18 needs to have a signed consent from a parent or guardian. Certainly, it's always preferable if that parent or guardian comes.
And for those parents still feeling a bit hesitant about giving their child the vaccine, Felton says,
I think what people need to remember is the fastest way to get our community more open and more safe is through vaccination. When you look at the two ways that you can become immune, it's either through natural infection or it's through vaccination.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Thanks, Andrea. Felton says kids in this age group have been known to have lesser symptoms than their adult counterparts after receiving the vaccine. That's according to the Pfizer study. And again, Riverstone should be offering youth vaccines later this week. Well, in an effort to get the COVID-19 vaccine into as many arms as possible, Riverstone Health released details today about making that happen. Riverstone will partner with Yellowstone County businesses and churches to offer free walk-in vaccinations for the public. The first two clinics kick off this Thursday and Friday, May 13th and 14th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Red Ox. That's on North 13th Street. The pub station will also hold outdoor concerts during both of those sessions right next door. If you're out and about on Sunday, there's another clinic set for May 16th from 11:30 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be at Atonement Lutheran Church. There are also 4 other clinics scheduled starting Thursday of next week. All of those locations and times can be found on our website, ktvq.com. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon announced today that the state will end the federal $300 federal unemployment supplement and other pandemic-related aid. It's a move that other GOP governors have already made, including Montana Governor Greg Gianforte. It's being done in an effort to relieve workforce shortages. In addition to ending the $300 payments, Gordon's action will also restore the length of regular unemployment benefits to 26 weeks. Wyoming will stop those payments on June 19th. Well, the impact of COVID-19 is visible across our community and state every day, but it's the non-visible damage left behind from the pandemic that will continue to stress our community for years to come. That's part of the message that Lynette Kosovich, CEO of Rimrock Foundation, will take to Congress tomorrow. Kosovich will address the Senate Committee on Finance, Subcommittee on Health Care. Her testimony will focus on the COVID impact here in Billings and the region, but will also discuss the long-term mental impacts. She says, as experts around the world predicted, there would be a tsunami of mental health and addiction treatment, and that's now playing out.
And the one thing that we know is the long-term effect of a catastrophe like COVID. The mental effects will be far longer lasting than any physical effects. There's secondary trauma from it. I think we've all even had secondary trauma from COVID, just watching what's happened to our community or loved ones or people we know. I would love to tell Congress that if the funding isn't there, the problem's going to get worse. And it sounds like a threat or fear-based, but we've just seen what has happened over the last 6-8 months in our own community, just devastating crimes happening that we know are fueled by drugs.
Kosovich will speak about impact, but also testify about a potential solution. Certified community behavioral health clinics are designed to provide a comprehensive range of mental health and substance use disorder services that treat every aspect of a person's life. That's a path that Rimrock Foundation is now blazing in this region. And for a link to watch tomorrow's hearing at 1 p.m. Montana time, you can head to this story on KTVQ.com. All right, now over to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. Ed, we've been talking about thunderstorms here recently, but it's hard to imagine some of the lightning they had down south recently.
That's right. Last Wednesday, we were talking about it during the 10 o'clock news. Take a look. This is part of the satellite loop from around there where you see all those bright shaded areas. Those are all lightning strikes. Basically, last Wednesday between 8 in the morning and 5 in the evening, 4.5 million lightning strikes from cloud to cloud, cloud to ground were recorded in that region. Now keep in mind that even on a busy day, the top 1% of busy lightning days, there's around 3 million strikes, so it was exceptionally busy. So keep in mind, especially with even light thunderstorms around our area, if you see thunderstorms, go inside and stay inside until 30 minutes after that last rumble of thunder. Make sure you take shelter in a sturdy building and make sure you stay away from the windows and electronics when those storms are around. More on the forecast coming up.
All right, good advice. Thank you, Ed. 2021 is shaping up to be a much better year for the Billings-Logan International Airport. People are taking more trips compared to last year, and construction crews are hard at work building a new terminal. Q2's Mitch Legge has an update.
A massive construction project at Billings-Logan International Airport is starting to take shape. The $60 million terminal expansion is expected to be complete sometime in 2023. This adds to the list of good news happening at the Billings Airport, as passenger numbers are starting to tick upwards after the COVID-19 pandemic. Phase 2 of the airport expansion includes the construction of a new A concourse that is expected to be wrapped up by Christmas this year if all goes well. Phase 1 of the project added some smaller items of construction and was completed in early 2020. After the A terminal is complete, all of the passengers and airlines will be moved there, so the other one can be constructed. When it comes to air passengers, Airport Director of Aviation and Transit Kevin Plone said 2021 has had a much better start than 2020. The TSA screening line in 2021 has so far seen about 77% of the total passengers compared to the record year of 2019. Generally, Billings air travel picks up after school lets out and peaks in July or August.
So I mean, we're way further up along the lines than you're going to see around the rest of the country. Bozeman is already way past all that. So people are already coming to the state and traveling. You got people leaving. I mean, we're seeing a lot more activity right now already.
If you are catching a flight in or out of Billings this summer, Plone said that you should arrive about an hour and a half before your scheduled takeoff. Some airlines have shifted some of their schedules, so there will be more people in the concourse at one time. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
Thank you, Mitch. Plone also says there are 20% more seats available this summer in Billings compared to the record year of 2019. So plenty of options to get out of town this summer as well. Allegiant added a Portland direct flight earlier in the year and will fly directly to San Diego and Los Angeles, California this summer. And American Airlines will start up a direct flight to Chicago that will run from June through October. One more sign that Americans are looking to get out and about this summer. AAA announced today that more than 37 million people are expected to travel for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. At 37 million is a 60% increase from last year's record low when only about 23 million traveled. According to the report, more than 34 million of those travelers will hit the road, while 2.5 million will take to the air. Nearly 43 million people traveled over Memorial Day back in 2019. The top destinations this year, Orlando and Las Vegas. After a devastating fire destroyed the M&M Bar and Cafe in Butte last week, the owner of the historic Montana buildings now partnering with 5518 Designs in hopes of kickstarting the rebuilding process. 5518 Designs has released a special set of gear featuring the iconic building, with 100% of the proceeds going directly to the rebuilding effort. Orders have been coming in from across the country to help rebuild the bar and cafe. As of last night, 5518 Designs had already received more than 200 orders.
It's been really encouraging. It's kind of like it makes me feel good for the future of the M&M after going through what we did here on Main Street last week. Overnight, I think we had nearly 200 orders for different pieces. So hopefully that continues and we can raise a big chunk of change to help Selena and the M&M family.
Long live the M&M stickers, sweatshirts, and T-shirts are available for pre-order on the 5518 Designs website. WIC is expecting the orders to come in toward the end of next week. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, with supplies low and demand high. There's a renewed call to give blood as we head into the summer months. Then a little later in sports, best of the best. We'll go beyond the court and learn about the top 5 female athletes in Billings. That's coming up a little later.